see my friends the way I want to. I can't go out to a pub, have a beer, can't go out to the movies, watch a film, go to a soccer game, go to a basketball game, go to a wrestling event. Um, I mean, these are little things, but they're major, especially living in a society like this. They take you away from the mundane. All I've been doing is going to work, coming home, watching whatever little was on television, playing games, whatever, and then that's it. Like hell, we were doing Zoom calls, a lot of us, when this thing started, and now the Zoom calls are going to zero because we're sick of being on Zoom. And this year has been frustrating. They say that only be a couple of months. Oh, only be till this, only be this, and it just this shouldn't. It never should have got to this point. It never should have gone here, but here we are. Um, I've been feeling angry, upset, and skeptical. I'm not gonna lie. This year has fucking really sucked, and some of my friends have caught it. Maddie caught COVID. Mariah, who was on the show for an episode, she caught it. My friend Phil caught it. One of my friends' dad died from it. And this shit sucks. Nobody in my family's caught it. Good, knock on wood. I haven't caught it. You haven't caught it. But still, it's still there. And it's going to be there. And I just hope is that you get this vaccine, it gets some semblance of normal. It's never going to be the same the way it used to be, but at least something. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything?
The things that you mentioned about going to a pub, seeing a movie, getting outside, seeing a concert, hanging out with friends, all these small, tiny little things that we might have taken for granted in the past. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. It takes you away from the mundane. It is a boost, a shot of happiness and to stave off the existential dread of human life, right? And those things all just got yanked, completely just gone. So it's been tough, Nick. Yeah. It's been tough. I agree with you about the anxiety, the nervousness, both for my family, both for, the economic situation, obviously, all the devastating loss of life that have happened because of COVID, my God, the emotional roller coaster of the election and everything leading up to the election, the Supreme Court nominations, the selection process, not knowing what Trump would do after the election, fucking declaring martial law, like so much happened this year that did affect me emotionally, that might have been easier to handle if things were okay, as far as being able to release that anguish by the the normal of going to the pub and drinking a beer or going to catch a show. So not having any of those releases
Yeah.
Just compounds how tough this year was for all of us. Um, you know, it I have felt more isolated in my life than I've ever felt, and I'm sure I'm one of a billion other people who feel the same way this year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when like uh, you hear stories of people that are like saved from death, or like they see their life flashing before their eyes type of situation, and when they come back, um,
Mm-hmm.
they realize how much of what they used to take for granted now means something new to them, sort of a new lease on life type of situation. And I'm waiting for that moment because I already
Right.
have an entire book full of things that I personally took for granted prior to 2020 that I will no longer take for granted going into the future. In the
Mm-hmm.
wise words of Rolling Stone, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Um, so 2020,
Gone.
again,
Yep.
to harken back to what I said at the very beginning of this podcast, put up a giant mirror up to me to see my life for what it is, um, and how not to miss out on some of these things that maybe I would have easily said no to, or didn't pay much attention to before. And I feel that I'm a pretty in the present person, anyways. That I've been all my life. But I know going into
Mm-hmm.
2021, when things
Mm-hmm.
start returning to somewhat normalcy with the vaccine coming out, there's like I said, a book full of things that I will no longer
Yeah.
take for granted. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going on. Things get back somewhat back to normal. I'm going on a road trip. I'm going to Wisconsin Dells.
what's the
We're going
one thing you're
camping
gonna
again
do?
in the summer.
Like, let's say you wake up tomorrow and COVID is not a thing and the economy's back to normal. What's the first thing you're doing? Okay.
I'm going to an independent wrestling show. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going to an independent wrestling show and I'm going to watch. I don't care how bad it is, anything. I'm going to watch it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to a bar.
I'm gonna do my favorite thing to do,
And
which is
yeah,
go
for you.
grab a 4-pack of Heineken, those tall boys. Go to my local sushi restaurant that does BYOB. Order 2 rolls of sushi. Drink 2 to maybe 3
uh,
beers. Go to the Music Box Theater and see a movie,
yeah.
and then come home and call it a night.
Yes. Mark, yeah, that'll be another thing. Mark that down. Mark that down. All right. Before we go, even though this year was shit, name
One
one
good
good
thing that
thing
happened
that
this
happened
year,
this year.
I learned that through any adversity, um,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not afraid to ask for help, there's always support that you can find to get you through whatever situation you're in. So that's what I learned from this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me. That's the one good thing that happened this year,
Yeah.
in terms of in terms of things that I guess like life lessons that I learned from this year, in the positive life lesson I learned from this year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, good things happened this year. Let's not be all doom and gloom. Like, good things happened this year. Um, But
Right.
for me, on a personal note,
Mhm.
that's the one good thing I learned from this year. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You?
Right. I learned the power of friendship. I learned who really is your friends, um, and who really has your back through all this. Even though I've been panicking and feel like I'm alone, there's still people I could call and talk to that are going through the same thing and literally help you if you needed help, or just been a ear to cry, shoulder to cry on, or ear to listen. And the even though we're not together, some of the things that we discovered has been awesome. Like um, lower division soccer, uh, looking at Detroit City FC and how they, when they're in the stadium, how they are, or St. Louis FC, even though their team is folding and their last game was a playoff game, the way they love their team, and hated to see them go, even though they lost their last game. Didn't get a championship. They stayed to the end to cheer on their team. Motoric Alexandria, who are making kits for a soccer group that I'm friendly with, the Plastics. They're making, which I'm getting one soon, Plastics kit. Canadian Premier League. Like, I didn't know there was a Canadian Premier League soccer league. The fact that Chicago is getting another team, NISA soccer team, and uh, they want input from a bunch of us. That's we wouldn't have known this if and done these things if this pandemic hadn't been going on. And at the end of it, it's going to be so much fun of us getting back into the stadium, us traveling to Madison, Wisconsin, and Indianapolis, Indiana, and Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky, to watch soccer with a bunch of people who just want to watch soccer and have fun and go to different places and stuff when this thing ends and we get some semblance of normalcy. The friends I've made over the web. Uh, if we weren't all sitting at home, we'd never known these people. So, yeah, that's one of the few bright
Here, here,
spots
here, here.
in this whole thing. So, yeah. But now we go on to 2021, which is a bunch of surprises coming our way.
Here, here.
And we hope that it's better than this year. So let's wrap
Yeah,
this up.
of course, of course.
Ogul, thank you for doing this again. I appreciate it, man. I miss you, man.
Thank
You're like one of my brothers. I love you, man. And yeah, this year was shit. And it's coming to an end in the next couple of days. And hopefully 2021 is a little bit better. Hopefully some of the bad things that happen will follow us into 2021. If we do, I hope we're better prepared to handle it. But yeah, it's just a shitty ass year. It's a shitty ass year, and I'm glad it's coming to an end. Kobe, Gianna, Chadwick, Ruth, Justice Ginsburg, Ricky Johnson, Sean Connery, Alistair Beck,